Okay, UK 100. Let's talk about a bit of trading. So UK 100, also called the FTSE 100. I entered a position. I shared it with my trading group. I have a little trading group who sort of follow my positions, and we talk about trades together. And so I entered. I think it was Thursday. I'll put a picture of it above me here so you can look at the details of it. Why it's interesting is that it's not because it was an awesome trade. It's actually because it wasn't an awesome trade, but it gives you an idea of how I think about trading. The problem with this trade and why it wasn't an awesome trade was that, like many, if you're a trader or anyone who's into trade at the moment, the movement to the upside that you can see in the chart above me was unnatural. It wasn't what should have been happening from a fundamental and technical perspective. Fundamentally, supply side shock on oil, inflation, etc., etc. The indices shouldn't be going up at that point, and then technically it was breaking through levels which it shouldn't have broken through. But for sure, in the back of my mind, it's still, by the way, it's still like 6 o'clock in the morning, so I'm capturing that sunrise. It was definitely not. I was listening to a bias in my head. The chart itself was saying one thing, and I was ignoring it because in my head it was just, it shouldn't be doing that. It should be doing this, and that's what this position was about, really. There were some technical aspects which were correct to my plan, but there were parts of it that just were incomplete in terms of like the steps that I take when I take a position. And I reflected on it, and I shared with the group, and I said, look, we're in this position. Some of the team took that position as well as me, and I said, look, just to be transparent with you, I don't think this is a great position, because I reflected on my last 4 or 5 positions, and we'd had about 3 or 4 positions which were absolutely great. They were lovely, nice healthy profits, stuck to the plan, felt great. I'll talk about those positions, I guess, in another TikTok, but it was that this position was, I guess I was comparing it to those positions. I was like a bit frustrated with it, so I said, look, I don't think it's a great trade. And one of the guys in the group said, so are you going to stay in it? Are you going to stay in it? And I was like, and this is where experience counts as a trader. I said, look, I'm comfortable with the risk I took, and I'm comfortable with losing that risk if it happens. And I said, from experience, I'm always happier to stick to the plan rather than sort of halfway through a position jump out of that plan. And I haven't always been perfect, because nobody is in trading. So I was comfortable staying in the position because I always reference how would I feel in the future, depending on those 2 scenarios. The 2 scenarios would be, it's a crap trade and I lose, I risked 0.5% of my capital. And I was like, am I comfortable losing that 0.5%? The answer, yes. I don't like losing, nobody does, but would I be comfortable if that position and my trade actually worked out? How would I feel about getting out of that trade halfway through, taking a small loss, but giving up the opportunity to make profit? and this is quite a common sort of mindset I have. I said I'd rather take the L than miss out on the opportunity that could happen. It's less about money and it's about how I feel about, if I just stuck to the plan, it would have, everything would have worked out. So I'm not sure if I expressed that very well, but it's, would I rather feel, oh, I've saved a few quid by getting out early, or I stuck with it in spite of my kind of inner demon, the fear inside, which is what traders have, that you're going to lose money. I think it's something you gain with experience, that you go, yeah, I'm comfortable with the L, and I would rather face that L than give up sticking to my plan and give up my psychology. That's, I guess, the key point. I don't want to give up the robustness in my kind of mindset and my psychology. So now it's Monday morning in Vietnam, and at the moment that trade is in profit. Whether it stays like that, I don't know. Donald Trump, as we talk, has threatened to be very weird, and the Iranians have blocked the Strait of Hormuz, and he said, I can do one better, I'll block it even more. It's like the dumbest thing ever. So I guess that's played a part in it, and that's just luck, isn't it? And honestly, there is a lot of randomness in trading, and you need luck to be on your side. You're just playing the probabilities. And in this particular case, I stuck with the plan and played the probabilities. It's in profit at the moment. Whether it stays like that, I'll keep you informed. But that is, that is an important lesson I took in my trading early on. So many times I've done that in the past, where I would get nervous. I'd think, oh, it's not going to work out, and I'd bail out of a position, and then later on it would just go flying towards my take profit. So if I would say anything, let's get that sunrise in again, because it's just amazing. That is definitely something that I've learned, and it's a simple thing to learn. Remember, would you rather scenario A or scenario B? And that's what I do. I think, would I rather? So it's a long video, isn't it? I don't know if TikTok allows me to do videos that long. All right, cheers.